PWCC weekly auction. Okay, so we talked a little bit about Mahomes, Burrow. We talked about that. Did you know that there are no high-end LeBron rookie cards in this auction?
No high-end who?
LeBron rookie.
LeBron? No, I did not know that. And we've seen a bunch. Is it
a ton?
Is it because people figure hold it if you're going to sell it the next week or two when as the record comes?
Well, let's back up.
Or don't sell at all.
We saw so many LeBron top scrolls. So we saw LeBron refractor 10s in the weekly. 2 of them at the time. We saw BGS 10s. We saw SP autos. We've seen some of the nicest LeBron rookie cards that were premier worthy just a year and a half ago in weekly. Let me pull up and show you guys what's in this weekly because that was the first thing that came to mind. It's always something it's like an exercise I love to do. Oh, that's cool. I'll show you guys that card, a Pop Century card.
Nice, look at that. You see, like, oh, it's a one I wasn't expecting.
So, I'm going to pull this up. I got distracted by the card.
It happens. It's funny. I every time I look at the auction, I see another 3 cards, and I'm like, oh, I think I want that one.
Is this the tab? Yes. Cage, can you hear me still?
I can hear you, yes.
So one of my favorite exercises on PWCC Weekly is to choose a player, make sure to filter on this week's auction. This is auction 54, and then go high bid first. So if you look high bid, and it would be cool to see, so we do player indexes, and Carlito does this, but I think it's important to also do player indexes broken down by rookie cards, inserts, and non-rookies. Right? Because I think rookie cards do perform differently than like 2006 Ultimate. You know, it's 2004 Exquisite. Those are different types of cards than as true rookies. But, Paige, look as I'm scrolling down. So you have a Topps Chrome LeBron in an SGC 10. Okay, base rookie.
Nice card.
You have an Upper Deck sweet shout. A decent card, not even a high grade, not like a sought-after LeBron. And that's it. That is your extent of rookie LeBron cards in this weekly auction. I found that fascinating given what we've seen the last 2 months where it was sell your LeBrons. Everything, it was a liquidation sale. And then just like that, done.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts? You asked me a question, but I want to ask you, like, is that at this point, everyone who's wanted to sell LeBron has sold off, and now it's, hey, All-Star game's coming. Let's see what the Lakers could do this year. And by the way, obviously, we know he's going to break Kareem's record.
I mean, I think the ability for people to have these in their vaults and click a button and figure out when to sell them is huge. So a couple things. Number one, the team hasn't been doing that great. People were kind of unloading, but then all of a sudden now, for the last couple of weeks, LeBron's been playing MVP level. I mean, there's no one else on his team really. Somebody's going to score, but he was averaging like 35 points a game since he turned 38. Close to a triple-double every game. He's playing at, a real high pace. And you have that, I think it's on pace for February 7th now to break the record of Kareem. I think he's like 170-something points away from it, basically 7 games.
Do you think they're going to sit him and decide when to, like, do they want to break the record at home? Do you think that kind of stuff is going to happen?
No. I mean, look, there's 2 games there, the 7th, the 9th. I mean, he would really have to be sad a bunch of times to maybe make it against Golden State. If you want to do that as kind of like a rub it in, hey, Curry, you might have set the record for most 3-pointers, but look, I think this is actual points. I just don't see them doing it. Although I will tell you, obviously, you saw a difference in his game when Davis came back. LeBron went from scoring, 36 a game, 35 a game to he only scored 20. He didn't have to carry the load. I think he wants Davis to kind of score more. So, I mean, anything's possible. Interesting stuff, though, Did you
see the screenshot I sent our group? Bill Russell, 14,522 points. Brooke Lopez, 14,814 career points. So just put it a little bit in perspective. It's obviously amazing to break the all-time scoring record. What cards stuck out to you? I only have a few this weekly auction. An Ernie Banks card I really liked. I love the Ernie Banks rookie card. I just think the Bear's kind of cool on it. There's a Nolan Ryan rookie card, but anything that stuck out to you in this weekly auction?
Yeah, I mean, there's one thing I want people to look at because I'm going to go a completely different way than most, right? I may bid on this, but this is less people. Most people listening to this don't even care about this stuff. But can you just pull up you could sort it by age. Like if you don't do highest rank, the whole deal, just the normal way that it comes up. The oldest card, and it's from 1888, and it's a Scraps Tobacco card. You can pull that up. It's just cool because, as far as I'm concerned, this is one of the first die cut cards that are out there. We talk about die cuts now. I mean, it's one of the first cards ever. But it's a cool story. It's one of those things you can kind of research. I remember reading about this back in like 2012 or 2014. Memory Lane found a bunch of these. It wasn't really clear where these things came from. It's 1888 Scraps, is if you want to have a search term. You can pull it up there. It's SCRAPPS. You're not sharing yet, but I'm sure when you are, there we go. Yeah, see, there's two of them there. You see the two die cuts? I mean, no money there, obviously.
I don't think.
Yeah, it's a die cut. It 100% is a die cut. 100%. That black is probably some kind of backing on the card. Pretty cool card, right? And there's no description of this, but look at the color on it. Look at the artwork on it. This is one of those cool, like, first kind of pieces. I don't know anything about David Foots or AJ Bushong, who's in next week's. But, this is one of those 19th century baseball cards that, you just don't see come up for auction too often. You didn't really know where they were, where they came from. I remember reading an article, like I said, it was Memory Lane, but because it's so old, because it's, no one's around for when these came out, you didn't know how they were distributing and whatnot. I remember they found pairs. There was like one of them and another one upside down attached to it. The same card came like you had to like rip it apart. So it was like distributed in like pairs and in like really nice condition and stuff. I think they were thought to be, something that was delivered in like a collector's book or a scrapbook. It's an 18 card set. I just saw one in this one when I first popped this one up, and I'm like, wow, you don't really see these things too often. I'm pretty sure there's only been like a couple hundred of them ever graded for all the players. But you got the old style, baseball cap on, and it just, what was cool for me. Look, it was $100. Next week one, I think, is sitting there at $7. There's some cool ones in this. I think Charles Comiskey is in the set. Him from the Black Sox later on. The owner. But I just thought that was cool. We talk about like shiny cards. We talk about kabooms. We talk about all kinds of stuff. Like this card here is approaching. This will be 150 years old. It's 130, 140 years old right now, and it's cool art. It's cool color, and it's just one of those things you just don't see that often. So even if you're not bidding on it, take a look. Just because, that's a cool one, the Cobb. Well, but this card is 21 years old. Like, look how old this is. That card is 21 years older than that card. When this card was born, the Scraps Tobacco could already drink.
The card I pulled up was Ty Cobb, Sovereign Cigarettes, Bat on Shoulder, Cage. Yep. Talk to me about this card. This card is one of the highest bid up cards right now, $9,000. It's a gorgeous 5.5, perfect centering.
Yeah, the eye appeal on this one is amazing. It's already graded high as a 5.5. It looks nicer. The corners are pinpoint. It's got a cool back, the sovereign back. Cobb has several different cards in this set. He's got a bat on the shoulder, a bat off the shoulder. He's got portraits of red and green. So there's multiple types. He's obviously a huge player when the tobacco sets came out. That is, you can talk about the 4 cards of Babe Ruth in the 33 set. Similar here. Everybody has their favorite. Real difficult to find a card that looks like that with that type of pricing. That card looks, it's a 5.5 SGC. It looks like it could be a 7. Just really great shape. Great colors on the card. Looks like it got pulled out of a tobacco pack today. It's a really, really cool looking card if you're in for, for a Ty Cobb. Ernie Banks, man. Ernie Banks, 54, right?
This is a must-have, I think. I don't even know why I like Ernie Banks. I just think this card is sick. He looks so happy in this card. It's a gorgeous copy, 7.5, but you could see it's one of the nicer eye appeals. And I just think this bear here is hilarious. What's the deal with Ernie Banks? What's his claim to fame, so to speak?
Let's Play 2. You ever do 2 episodes in one day?
Have I ever done? Yeah, for sure. I've done like 6.
Well, his famous saying is "Let's play 2." We'll play 2 balls for a little double header. That's his. If you say Ernie Banks, anybody who was there, let's play 2. Mr. Cub, which is why it's cool because he wasn't Mr. Cub when that card came out in 1954 because that's his rookie. but playing for the Cubs a long enough time, that was his nickname. So here you have Ernie Banks as a rookie with the little Chicago Cub in there. Played for the Cubs for a really long time. I think he played until the 70s. I think he might have played into the 70s, like maybe 71. Started playing, I think, at 53. So you're talking about, being there for nearly 20 seasons. Inducted into the Hall of Fame in 77, I think. Really great player and one of the few guys that stayed on the team, the same team for a long time. Also, one of your favorites, 51 to 53 military service. One of the greater players, right? One of the greatest players, of all time. First ballot Hall of Famer, got almost 90% of the vote when that stuff wasn't really happening. I think he played the All-Star game, more than half the time he was in the league. MVP 58 and 59, Gold Glove in 60. I pull up a page here for him. But yeah, just player coach, which I know you love from 67 to 71, right? 71.
So let me
keep
rocking and I'll popcorn after this.
That's a cool card, though. I like that card. That's the same. 54 has got Hank Aaron in it also. Same set.
It's just, to me, this is a cool card. Like, just design-wise, I love this card. From when I first got back into the hobby, I was like, this is a cool card. I don't understand the appeal of this. So you have the 1998 Hoops Slam Bams Kobe card out of 100. This card, from the first get that I saw this on Monday, was already at $5,000. So it was bid up from the get. It's out of 100, so 90s cards that are numbered or rare, so people like it. What's the deal with this card? This is a non-rookie. It's a PSA 7. This is sitting at $6,000 right now, Paige.
So I think the appeal on this, the same as the appeal on the Jordan, is, if you were to poll a Jordan collector or a Kobe collector and say, give me your list of, top cards that you have to get, the vast majority of people who are at the pinnacle of collecting now, from the Spinatrons to the Chris Hoges to the Waldorfs, are going to tell you 90s inserts Jordans that are numbered, 90s Kobe's inserts that are numbered, PMGs, essential credentials, and cards like this.
And this just gets lumped in because I don't get the essential credentials vibe off this. This is hoops. I mean, this is the junkiest brand that we get today.
Oh, it's one of the, in the late 90s, there were not many cards that were inserted in packs with numbering on them. And this one is numbered out of 100. Why I don't love this one is because this is the Slam Bams, and then there's just the regular Bams that's, I think, out of 250. So there is kind of like a different version of the card, but that doesn't stop PMG green and PMG red. That doesn't stop refractor, gold refractor, black refractor. I mean, I think part of it is just because it's hoops. Even though it's numbered out of 100, I don't think 100 of them survived, because in the 90s people weren't treating hoops cards like exquisite cards in the early 2000s. And I think you got this card and
PSA 7, 2 7s graded, and only 1 8 or 1 9. There's only one
well,
grade.
first of all, it's high level, a lot of foil, a lot of chipping, so it's very hard in high grade, just like the PMGs. But more importantly, I think because of this, because it's in hoops, I mean, you would think maybe kids opened them up and didn't do anything with them, didn't save it because it's from a hoops pack. So I think that's part of it. Even though it's out of 100, the actual circulating supply is probably significantly less.
I'll popcorn you, but I have 2 cards that I would rather have. Both of them, I think, were ones.
No, then stick with that. Stick with that. I want to see are there Kobe cards that you'd rather have in there?
Yeah. I'll show you the Kobe card, and then there's a Wilt card.
Nice.
So
that's what I want to see.
This is a sick Kobe card. So you have this National Treasures from 2010. It looks like it's a sticker auto, but I've zoomed in. I don't think it is. So you have this gorgeous. It's a 2010 playoff National Treasures Kobe. It's a Pop 1. It's PSA 10 on card auto, as crisp of an auto as you get. You have a gorgeous patch, insanely gorgeous patch on it, and it's Pop 1 PSA 10 out of 10, $4,300. So that's a sick card that I think you should get. And then this one, you have a flawless Game Worn Will Chamberlain patch, which I think was insanely cool.
But I mean, this is a difference in collecting, and it's one of those things that really gets me thinking about like how things change, right? Because I'm too old to care about PMGs. I think they're cool now, and I'd love to have them in my collection because obviously they're very collectible, but I wanted rookie cards, right? And I'm older, and the people who sort of run the hobby now, You can see their collections on Flickr if they haven't taken them down, or listen to them talk on Friday nights at 11 o'clock. And their friends, they're younger than me, not by a lot, but they're younger than me. But those couple of years, they matter, right? They matter because I wasn't collecting in the mid to late 90s. They were. And the cards that they love are not the scoring kings from the early 90s that I love. It's not the rookie cards from 86 that I love, right? They love, even the earlier inserts from the 91, 92 sets, right? They love what they love. And they're the ones in control now. But guess what? Then comes you and people your age and people a little younger. And maybe they like RPAs. Maybe they like patch autos. Maybe they like that Kobe over the Kobe from 98 that's out of 100. And I wonder whether or not we do have that sort of swing in collecting. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all, man. It wouldn't surprise me at all. So, I mean...
You see mantle cards. There's a few mantle cards on this, but you see mantle rookies keep appreciated. But you have low-grade on-card auto mantles. You have a few of them in this auction. Is it that just he hasn't signed he signed so much that his autos will never be collectible? Is that his autos you can't they're not apples to apples comparisons?
He did sign a lot. He did sign a lot, but not a lot on his cards.
Right. So he signed a lot for that time, but as this hobby grows, how many people are now chasing some sort of mantle and even like a one? They'll buy a mantle ripped up card, and that's what drove the price. Do you think mantle on-card rookies have any longevity in this space?
Oh, are there any in this one? Show me one.
Yeah.
We can take a look.
1966.
Yeah, it's not a rookie, but yeah.
Correct. Right, but it's a mantle card. It's a Topps mantle card, on-card auto, verified by PSA.
It's weird. The auto stuff is just a weird thing, right? So there's no auto grade.
They're not on this one. That's it. I found that interesting too.
So, I mean, until there's some uniformity amongst graders and how they do that and what they do with the label, it's always going to be confusing to people because I look at it and I see, look, there are some amazing cards that sold this past week at Heritage. There were some amazing cards that sold this past week in REA. Mantle rookies with autographs on them. Maze rookies with autographs on them. And the card grade and the autograph grade. And, real high prices for these things because that's just another level of scarcity. It's another thing to kind of collect. But I wouldn't mind a low-grade mantle with a high-grade auto on it, but what's the auto on this? And how do you figure out what the auto grade is?
So this is an old PSA slab. So I don't think that this auto got graded. You kind of have to do your own due diligence and see, is it a nice auto? I'll pull it up for you guys so you can see. But you'll see it's an old slab. Here it is. So it's right here. It's an old slab, right? So they didn't grade the auto, but the auto looks decently crisp to me. I would give it an 8 or a 9.
There you go. We'll take a look. I mean, that looks nice. Well, I like this, and I know that there are people who are collecting autographs of Mantle by year. You know what I mean? People do the vertical, and you can get a lower grade card with an auto on it cheaper than the higher grade card. Like put Mantle in and go by search, and I think there's a PSA 9 of the 1968 in here. That is going to be many multiples of the card you just showed me. Because that's a 3 with an autograph on it. You can take a look. I'm pretty sure there's a PSA 9, which is really nice. The 68 set, which is, besides Nolan Ryan, it's probably the other key card in the set, and it's in PSA 9. So, a pretty nice looking card. I don't know if you can pull it up, but you take a look at that. Was one of the few that I was taking a look at. No.
I'm pulling it up.
Okay, cool. There's a bunch of cool mantles. But yeah, look, you can see how much the high grade mantles go for. So there's a couple. There's the 68 and there's a 67, both significantly higher in price. And those are PSA 9s, really nice. And then there's the 59 and PSA 8. All of these in high grade without the signatures, obviously significantly more in price than the 3 with a signature.
I think the 3 with the signature is sick.
All right, cool let's wrap up with, it's different.
With some cards. Anything you want to spotlight?
Sure. I there's a cool one here. It's not from playing days, but it's one of those cool. I'm curious what your thoughts are. 07 Upper Deck Premier Attractions Michael Jordan Patch Auto. Just a different one. You don't see these things all the time. There's a lot of Michael Jordan stuff out there. It's just one that you don't see. It's in a BGS 9 with a 10 auto. Cool MJJ, which, if you know KG, you know what MJJ stands for, right?
Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
There you go. He doesn't let you
I know
that.
this set because I actually bought a Tom Brady patch card from this set. Really like this set.
It's cool, right? It's sort of like a Topps triple thread type of thing,
It's the new update on PWCC always takes an extra step to search.
Yep, this is cool though. A cool looking card.
Insanely crisp auto.
Yep, 10 auto. I mean, straight red patches. The 3 patches. You'd like to see some variation of the color on it, but just a different card, man.
Buy this and send it back into BGS. They recently made an announcement that they're eliminating the white label, so this is just going to be a silver label.
And then the only other card I wanted to look at is, I hope you're not bidding on this, and I'll feel bad if it's something that you were planning on bidding on, but it checks a lot of boxes for me, and it goes with my contrarian play, and sometimes that doesn't work out, right? Yeah. Not for the player, but for the card. If I were to tell you that there was... So just forget about the weekly auction. In the real world, what's a Steph Curry National Treasures RPA go for?
$200K.
$200,000, right? So do me a favor and just type in 2009 National Treasures Curry. And if you want to type in rookie patch auto, not RPA, you can type in rookie patch auto. And that's the one out of 99. This one's out of 25. It's overall. What about ones out of 5? With multicolor patches. Sick multicolor patches. So what you're going to see here is a 2009 National Treasures Curry. And it is a RPA, rookie patch auto, in BGS 8.5. That's it right there. You found it. With a sick patch.
Wow.
But this is the Colossal, so it's different. It's a 10 auto, so the real nice Steph Curry auto. It has all the buzzwords. 09, rookie patch auto, limited to 5, multicolored patch. But because it's the Colossal and not... Look at that patch, man. That's 4 colors. You get the full stripe. You go blue, gold, orange. It's that cool jersey, the Warriors
jersey. How much
jersey.
do you care about sticker autos? Sorry to cut you off.
Obviously, the world cares about sticker autos. But look at... If this were the RPA out of 5, how many hundreds of thousands of dollars? And it's sitting at $5 grand.
It's a gorgeous patch. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4 color.
Yeah. With breaks. Just a ton of breaks. Nice stripe across it. You see the jersey. A 10 auto. I think it's a game worn jersey. You can take a look at the card. I mean, I'm not 100% sure. You can take a look at what the card says about it, but it's $5,000. Just because it's from the right set. It's the right guy. It's out of 5, but it's the Colossal, so it doesn't have the demand. But at some point, a card like that, does the demand come in for it? Because people are seeing the 6 figures being spent on the other RPAs from that same exact release.
I was actually thinking about that. I think cards like this get extremely hurt with a lack of liquidity in a down market, but become much more liquid and sellable in an up market.
Yep.
So I think we need to actually almost kind of line in the same. Think about cards when markets are going well, bull markets, when markets are flat, and when markets are going down. And I think behaviors of different types of cards and products change depending on the market circumstances. I think cards like this that have a sticker auto, it's not the right brand, it hurt extra in an illiquid market because either people are looking for nothing and they're left the hobby or not buying, or they're only looking for the NT because they're chasing and they're FOMOing or they're looking for that speculative next thing. But in an up market in 10 years, when there is that next one, people aren't going to be like, oh, that's the Colossal. I'm not going to, So it's something I've been thinking through with just a little bit of a theory that I'm learning as I'm observing the hobby. Anything else?
No, go for it. What else you got?
I mean, I got a lot favorited, but I want to respect people's time. I mean, there's a Burrow Kaboom. There's a Burrow out of 5 select gold auto. I wouldn't be buying Burrow this weekend. We talked about that on like the kind of the brain dump episode we just released as well. So I'll cap it there. I mean, I think 35 minutes, 40 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, listen, baseball, there's one vintage baseball card out there, a guy who does not get the props that he deserves. I'm telling you guys all the cards that I look at myself. 1973 Topps Mike Schmidt rookie. There's a PSA 9. It's one of the cards that has a 3 rookies on it. Mike Schmidt. The Philly guy. If you're a Philly guy, and I know you're a Philly fan, 500 home run, one of the best, if not the best, third baseman to ever do it. We saw Scott Rowland get in the Hall of Fame. This guy put Scott Rowland to shame. And Scott Rowland, I think, is only 18th third baseman to ever get in. It's a very tough position to make the Hall of Fame in. This guy is one of the best. Because, the corner infield, first of all, people don't last that long playing there. Second, they're usually not power hitters, so they're usually not. You could probably, count on a couple of hands how many 500 home run third basemen there are. There's just not that many of them.
It's so weird, man. Now it makes sense why Jeter didn't want to go give up shortstop to A-Rod. Mm-hmm. But it's like, I don't get what's more. Why is there less longevity as a third baseman than a shortstop?
It's a longer throw.
You probably throw the ball less times a game.
The ball's on you quicker, too. You have to be, shortstop has a lot of range, but usually you play shortstop in the hole. On that angle, it's 90 down the line, but it's 100 when it gets to you at shortstop, 110 when it gets to you at shortstop. You understand? You have a little more reaction time because you're actually further away from home plate.
You're like a baseball connoisseur. You're able to distinguish.
That's math, man. That's just angles.
Well, yeah, no, but this whiskey was malted for 400 years in Ireland. This one came from Scotland.
Scotland, 16 years, yummy, good stuff.
Yeah, it's like, there's only 18 third basemen.
Yeah, I think Roland is the 18th one to get in. I think
that's crazy to me. I wouldn't think that there would be such a second base doesn't matter.
It's more second baseman. I think third base might be DH is probably the least, but it's because
catcher is probably the most, and pitchers.
There's a bunch of catchers. I mean, we can probably look it up and see how many, but I know there's not a lot of third basemen. There are some other there are some great third basemen playing now who will get in, and that'll change. You know what I mean?
Give me in this upcoming baseball season. Give me 3 guys that are playing that are young, the Burrow, Josh Allen type of baseball that you would be looking at, and then 3 guys that might be Albert Pujols of this year. Miggy Cabrera, maybe?
19 catchers, by the way. 18 third basemen. DH is 3. So, yeah.
3 Hall of Fame DHs?
Yeah, because it wasn't always a DH. Plus, DH means you're only hitting. You're not even playing the field. So, there's no... it's very difficult to get in as a designated hitter. Yeah, Harold Baines, Edgar Martinez, and David Ortiz.
One of them, right?
Yeah. So, a lot of pitchers, obviously, 84 pitchers, a lot of outfielders, obviously, because they're outfielders, but they split up the outfielders, 20-something of each. Shortstops, 26, and first baseman, 26, are the most position players. Right fielders, obviously, 27. Pitchers, 84. It's actually 10 umpires.
What? Angel Hernandez, probably. Guys heading into the year, young guys, Acuna, Tatis, that you think maybe people should look at, and then 3 vets.
Baseball.
Okay, so no, I said basketball. Sorry.
Basketball. So 3 young guys. I think Juan Soto has a really big bounce back season. Love Soto because he switched teams. The team didn't really achieve, and they're going to start the season off without Tatis to start the season off again. I think Soto has a big time bounce back year this year. Acuna also. I'm watching I think it's the Dominican League stuff where he hit home runs and he's like dancing and celebrating and all kinds of stuff. He looks back, he looks in form, and that's a guy who, has had some injuries, some bad luck. Already has a ring, although he would tell you he didn't earn that one. That was Freddie Freeman's team when Acuna was injured. But I think Acuna has kind of been overlooked. And Tatis is a real interesting one, man, because you're watching now Hall of Fame votes and like A-Rod getting no votes and Barry Bonds. Yeah, he got 30-something% of the votes to get in, right? And there's a third baseman who should be in the Hall of Fame just based on numbers. But I mean, does that impact now with Tatis, failing a drug test? Do people start saying, well, we can't collect him, baseball records? Or do people not care? Is he somebody you can get at a bargain price? I'd be scared about Ohtani. But what do I always say? Ohtani's playing for his money this year. Believe it or not, we could actually see the best season out of Ohtani, better than the last 2 that we just saw, which were incredible. But he's playing for his cheddar.
You're scared of Ohtani, but he's playing for his money.
I'm scared because his prices are so high already. People are pricing in like he's the greatest baseball player of all time, and that also he's going to be able to do what he has done for a long period of time. We saw those prices with Mike Trout. They're like, oh, he's going to be able to do this. But he doesn't stay healthy, and he's probably not going to play too much postseason baseball. He stays where he is and that kind of stuff. And it's very difficult. And, I don't see any way that Ohtani can continue doing what he's doing at the level he's doing it for any real prolonged period of time, both pitching and hitting. It'll be very difficult. Be great.
What about your boy Vladdy G Jr.?
I mean,
way back on.
It's difficult because the season he has is going to be dependent on how much he eats in the off season, and that's always. You tell me someone who's built like that, who's had longevity, long success. You're a Philly guy. You remember the name Ryan Howard, not the one from The Office? I mean, no one from that Phillies team is in the Hall of Fame. That was a beast of a team with Rollins.
Utley is not in the Hall of Fame?
Chase Utley, not even getting votes.
Jimmy Rollins?
Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley, that Ryan Howard.
Roy
was
Halladay?
like almost six. Well, Halladay's different, right? I'm talking about position guys. Halladay got voted in, posthumously, I think, after dying. But I mean, like that offense. And let's stick now with Ryan Howard, a big dude. Did it, but only did it for a little bit of time. Prince Fielder did it, but only did it for a little time. His father, Cecil Fielder, did it, but only did it for a little bit of time. When you're that big dude, and so much of your power is, related to that, you just
can't outrun the genetics. You can't outrun the genetics. It's
funny because his dad played for a long time, and his dad, we saw his dad in Philly. He was, he's not built the same way as his dad. His dad was a skinny player. His dad's a little bigger now, but his dad was, he played fit. His dad was an insane baseball player.
What's the deal with Canseco?
All steroids.
Canseco's not respected.
No. Canseco became like a joke. I loved Canseco when he played, but Canseco was like the enemy of baseball. He was the one who was saying that baseball was filled with steroids before anybody wanted to hear it. And he was almost vindicated by the whole thing. Because,
But he's hated now because of it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like a pariah.
Last take.
So the veterans, right now I saw a top 10 list of baseball players in the league, and Mookie Betts was towards the bottom of the 10. I think Mookie Betts is a buy. I think Mookie Betts is underrated, which is amazing because just look at his numbers. I don't want to call him the Russell Westbrook of baseball because he's significantly better than that, but people have kind of taken their eye off of Mookie, and the team is still going to be good, and he's still very young. He's younger than Aaron Judge. And he's playing with a great team that's going to play meaningful ball for a while. And while it pains me to say this, I'm going to say it. Manny Machado. I mean, he's the same rookie year as, the Mike Trout rookie card. Take a look at how cheap it is by comparison. A lot of people hate Manny. That's why. But Machado's numbers are as good as almost anyone in the game. And he's on the San Diego team where, if they get one or two pitchers to go with that lineup, to go with Tatis and Soto and Machado, I mean, that is a
Cronenworth, dude.
Jake Cronenworth, yeah, our guy Jake Cronenworth.
My favorite to watch was Adam Jones, Manny Machado, Chris Davis with Coach Buckhalter on that Orioles. I always wanted to go to Camden Yards because you could get like a hotel room apparently, and you could watch the game. Did you know that?
Nick Markakis.
There it is. You're good. Man.
Nick Markakis.
He
was a very underrated player.
For like 2-3 years when I was in the Bay Area, like 2014 to 2018, 17. And I think that was that time. Nick Markakis.
Like it.
Is the name.
Nick Markakis.
Chris Davis. I remember he got a huge contract and they couldn't hit the ball for like a year.
He just has 200 strikeouts in the year. Chris Davis. He got like $150 million and struck out. Like they paid him $1 million for every strikeout. Basically, was what happened.
Insane.
But no, I mean, listen, I love the stuff in the auction. Some amazing auctions. Baseball vintage, guys. Take a look at it. I posted up on my story, this week. But look at some of the sales that happened in Heritage this week. Some Roberto Clemente cards, some high grade. Not rookies, just high grade stuff. People are building sets. People care about registries. People will pay for high grade quality stuff still.
The interesting thing I heard about Roberto Clemente was he hated when he was called Bob. He liked Roberto, so I think there's 3 years of cards where his full name is on it. The other years is Bob, so there may be something there.
All right, that's cool. Interesting. Very interesting. So enjoy happy bidding and enjoy the football games, guys. If you listen to this football games, curious to see how that stuff works out in the NFL stuff. One of the cool things about the PWC stuff is, you should know what happened in those games. There's Josh Allen cards in this. Maybe this is a week to, when everybody's looking for Burrow, Mahomes, whatever it is, maybe now's the time to pick up Josh Allen if you believe in him coming back, right?
It cuts both ways, honestly, with that whole PWCC thing. It only applies to players that are like playing, but it cuts both ways. One last card I'll show you guys that I thought was pretty cool, and then we'll bounce out of here. It's a 1/1 Mike Trout, Tools of the Trade, right here. 1/1, really nice card. Take a look at it, guys. $975.
I like that. Top's tier 1.
Doesn't get much better than that.
There's a lot of cool stuff. Guys, take a look. We have cards and stuff, but there's a whole bunch of other items in the PWCC auction. We're not the ones to really tell you about them because we're just not smart enough to talk about things other than cards. But there are other categories of items in this in this auction. If you happen to be a memorabilia person or somebody who likes coins or video games, there happen to be some coins and some video games in this. Telling you more than it's a nickel or a quarter is something Andrew and I can't do. We don't know what a VF35 is, but if you happen to be in the market for a PCGS VS35 from 1869, $20 gold piece, there's a really nice one in this auction. Again, Andrew and I know nothing about coins at all. Don't know anything about them, but if you wanted some cards from the Rough Rider Horde, there happens to be a coin from the Rough Rider Horde in this one, which is another cool. It's almost like the Black Swan find. Pretty cool. Take a look at it. It's got Teddy Roosevelt on let's call it the slab on the coin piece from the Rough Rider Horde. Pretty cool one. You want to look that one up? Nice little piece of gold. 1907, $20 coin. Love it. First year of issue, 1907.
But
I don't know anything about coins.
You don't know anything about coins.
I know nothing about coins. I only have St. Gaudens like this.
Energizer batteries for the big man, because this is a double episode. We hope you enjoyed it.
Dude, you're back. I'm excited. And so is the audience. They all are happy to have you back.